few months ago, I got a message from a friend and customer saying that one of my products that they had bought from me, an acrylic phone stand, had shattered. But it didn't stop at just one message. This happened multiple times. And when a flaw like this repeats again and again, it's not just one product that's on the line, it's my entire business's reputation. These were just people who felt comfortable enough telling me that this had happened. What was happening with the rest of the customers that had bought this product, I had no idea. So I knew I had to act fast. I had originally designed these acrylic standees to hold stationery, and they were pretty good at that, but once you put something heavy on them like a phone, they started to flex. I thought it would be okay because my phone wasn't causing it to bend that much. So I had moved forward with the original design, adding a slot for a phone charger in the process. These stands sold out twice. Oh, now you're leaving. These stands sold out twice at conventions and online, but that message about the cracked stand confirmed my worst fears, and I refused to restock this product until I had found a solution. Luckily, I had already been working on a new design of these phone stands when I got those messages, so I was able to analyze the photos, look for weak points, and change my work in progress quickly.
The primary fix is just going to be making the acrylic thicker so that it's sturdier. But in both of the photos that I was sent, the stands broke right here. So I know that this is the weak point. So I'm gonna get rid of this little notch, which was meant for phone wires, but it's not really particularly useful anyway, since when it's sitting on a table, the wire has to go out one of these two sides. It can't go through the back. I'm just gonna get rid of it, and then I'm gonna make this area taller in general so that there's more acrylic here and it's less likely to flex at this point. Making this piece taller is also going to give more room for a phone charger not to bend at this point, which is a problem that I have with this design. And while I'm at it, I got some complaints that this hole for chargers was too small, so I'm going to take the opportunity to make this entire section longer so that I can make this hole bigger.
My original design included a triangular back support piece, but I didn't think I needed it, so I excluded it from that original production run. But seeing these breakages proved me wrong, so I knew I needed to add it back. However, getting the spacing right so the back was correctly supported was going to be tricky, so I got to work building a foam prototype.
While this foam isn't the same material as the acrylic, it's, softer, it's foam, it's less brittle, so it might bend more without cracking. Using foams to get the shapes correct is going to be an important step in developing the new standee, especially this back piece here.
While working on that prototype and getting the shapes correct, I also started messaging the manufacturer of my standee that I had been working with previously to ask what acrylic thicknesses they have.
Turns out my manufacturer has 5mm thick acrylic available. This is going to end up being more expensive than the last standee run, but that actually works out great because this foam board is exactly 5mm thick, which means that their acrylic is going to be the exact same thickness as my foam prototype, which is going to make things more accurate. Speaking of the prototype, I thought that this back support piece would need to be a 90-degree angle, but as you can see, that actually pushes this piece out when any amount of weight is applied. So I'm gonna fix that angle and we'll try again.
The other issue that I was encountering with these standees is that phones with grips on the back couldn't fit into the standee. I witnessed multiple people at the conventions that I was selling at get really interested in the phone stands and then get disappointed when their phones wouldn't fit. Plus, between the time of me making that first standee and now, I got a new phone and I put a pop socket on the back. So now my phone doesn't even fit in my own product. So I'm taking this redesign as an opportunity to introduce a few new shapes and design options as well, including a taller version with an aquarium media player design and a U-shaped design to fit a phone grip. I made the foam standee in that U-shaped design so that I could actually test it with my phone. I don't want to just go ahead and get a bulk order of all of these designs before testing them in acrylic, though, so I asked my manufacturer if they can produce samples. This will let me know how sturdy the new 5mm acrylic is, as well as make sure all of the pieces correctly fit together, especially that back triangle support piece. And I want to do this in the final material and not just on the foam board. This entire process required a lot of back and forth, and I had to ask several questions about the material, the cutout sizes, the sample process, and more. And I just want to give a huge thank you to the representative that I was working with because they were so incredibly patient with all of my questions throughout this entire process. The samples just arrived, so let's unbox them and test how they fit. Immediately, as soon as I hold these, I can tell how much thicker they are than the previous version of this standee. They're almost twice as thick. They are so beefy. I also just want to say how incredibly beautiful the print quality is. It's perfectly clear, the colors are spot on. I'm so happy with these. The real test is just going to be seeing if all of the pieces fit together correctly when I assemble it. Acrylic products like these always come with a protective film on both sides, and the pieces won't slide together cleanly if you don't take this off first. So let's take this off. This is always so satisfying.
Okay, so they go together like this. This triangular piece sits in here so that the flatter edge is up against the front. This front piece faces forward, and then you can slide these two together like this. And then your phone goes here. So this would be the wrong way. If you notice that this point goes past the slot here, this is not going to support the phone and it's going to block the second piece from sliding in. So you want to make sure that's correct. And then obviously you want this piece facing front. It is single-sided printing, so you know which side is the front. So the biggest thing I'm noticing is that this back piece actually still has a gap here. My theory is that it works with the foam because the foam is more flexible. It's less sturdy in holding the weight and it folds back more. So when I transfer that to the acrylic doesn't bend backwards as much, so it actually still leaves that gap here. So for the less flexible acrylic, I'm gonna need to rework this piece and make it closer to a 90-degree angle, but not fully 90 degrees, I think. And this really just shows the importance of getting the sample made in the final material as opposed to relying on my foam prototype. I'm very glad I did that because that means I can see this problem before I get like 100 of these made. So for now, we're back to cutting foam. Okay, so it did take a couple of tries, but I think I found one that worked. I think I found the exact angle that I need for this. And I think it's, even if it's a tiny bit off, it's close enough that I'm not going to need another sample. So I'm just going to send this new shape to my manufacturer and have them do the full production run of this with this new shape. I'm also tweaking the artwork a tiny bit on this particular standee just to cover this little area with another section of bush so that you don't see behind and see the glimpse of this back piece. I think it's just gonna look nicer if you don't see it, and it's easy enough to cover it with a piece of bush.
Oh, the final standees are here, and this is heavy. I'm gonna put this down. Oh my goodness.
Okay, and now for the moment of truth. Do they fit together? I would say that is a pretty spot-on fit right here. If you put something heavier on it, it will fold back and support a little bit more, but it does follow the angle of the standee. When you put it next to the old counterpart, you can really see the difference in how different both the size is, but also the thickness. And other than the improved structural stability, maybe the best part is how much more room there is for your phone charger under here. So you see it doesn't crimp quite as much at the bottom, whereas the older one definitely had a crimping issue. Speaking of the charging holes, putting them side by side, you can see how much larger this one is, both in width, but also a little bit in height. Now, I'm actually using my phone with the pop socket to record this, so I can't put it in there. I can kind of show it with this, how it has enough room for a phone grip or something to come through the back. There's a phone on one, an e-reader. Let me back you up. And I'm going to wholeheartedly not recommend this, but just show you for demonstration purposes. A Microsoft Surface Pro. Don't do this. I'm showing you this for demonstration purposes, but I do not recommend the weight of a full tablet on these standees. But it's good to know that it does hold oversized objects pretty well, and this support piece back here is doing its job. It's gonna be best if you stick to something smaller than a full-size tablet. I would say like a mini tablet or an e-reader is probably the biggest thing that you're going to want to put on these. They also work really well, and I've been really enjoying putting things like stationery or even mini prints on them. And small stationery items like these are what the original standees were designed for, so of course they continue to work for that.
Restocks of my best-selling Vaporwave standee design, as well as 2 new designs in Aqua Ambience and Enchanted Roses, are available now on my store at glitchberry.com. They are thicker, sturdier, and ready to hold your phone, stationery, photos, or other small display items. Plus, when they're empty, they act as a pretty art piece by themselves. If you had previously purchased one of the older models and it's not working for you, or it's broken, or you're just really unhappy with the quality in any way, please reach out with either your order number if you ordered it online, or a photo if you ordered it at a convention, and I will be sending you a coupon for half off of one of the new ones. I don't want to let this issue go unsolved, so if you are unhappy with your standee, I want to make it right for you. I also want to send a huge thank you to the people who reached out when their standees broke and sent photos, because knowing about a problem like this means that I can solve it for the future. I didn't script an outro, so thank you so much for watching this like weird half vlog, half talking heads format. I'm trying to get back into the swing of making YouTube videos again. So until next time, take care. Is this a safe place to say something like mildly unhinged? Okay, cool. I appreciate it. These kind of look like a jelly candy or a gummy candy, and I just want to